Hey, it's Doug Murin here. I'm just going to take a few minutes of your time, as I promised in the video. I want to talk about your facility situation, and I want you to know I'm not a business guy at this. Well, there's a business side, but I have a real pastor's heart for churches, and I have concerns. Our consulting at Murin Group grows out of a pastoral concern, not out of the most profitable way to operate. Otherwise, we would charge a lot more. Murin Group has expanded a lot just the last few months. Our new website will be coming up soon, and you'll see it all. But we now have 20 consultants in our firm that address anywhere from 1 to 20 issues. I started looking at what was clearly, I would say 10 years ago, a real stress point in churches with regard to their building payments, and having enough money left after paying for facilities to do ministry. And once you got a loan, you don't get a vote on that anymore. I began to see also in at least 3 cases, which I think is going to grow, where the banks actually came in and took over the church. I don't mean took the building back. I mean, in one case, they actually selected the pastor of a church that had a $15 million debt and basically ran the thing and all that. And by the way, I apologize for this institutional look wall behind me. I'm getting ready to move. We're going to move to Tampa on the water over there in a place called Dunedin. So we're all packed up, and we found out we've got another 6 weeks to sit still. So anyway, back to the matter at hand. It began to concern me, and then I was able to find some data that said, with one of the organizations I work with, lending advice on loans, they hadn't repossessed a building for 50 years. And in 1 year, in 2014, they repossessed about 50. Then I found out a moderately sized company that finances buildings has right now 16 churches into default. Also, we know last year in some counts, and I bet it's far more, 138 churches were repossessed, when that was a nearly unheard of thing, and there are going to be more to come. I analyzed for a certain denomination their church situation, and I could predict that within 6 to 7, 8 years, they were going to lose about a third of their buildings through repossession or forced sales. And the reason being the rate of decline in most churches today, outside Free Methodist Assembly of God, is about 2 to 3% a year. You factor that in, it kind of compounds. And then you got what we call the boomer cloud, which means when boomers start retiring, they're giving right now 68 cents out of every dollar to your church. And they're kind of tired of what we're doing. They're looking restlessly, especially the women over 50, and we're kind of teetering there. And it's not a very often talked about thing, but I'm observing it, and it's showing up in the data. So my concern is, I really thought this one group, I told them 1/3 of your churches are probably going to lose their facilities within 8 to 10 years. Now, I'm not a fear guy. I'm a solution guy. I've been brought in often to help churches retool, face new realities, and gain a new future. Yes, my suggestions are often a little radical sounding for conventional people, but usually I found 90% of the time I'm able to guide them into a new season of growth and a new experience. For example, I'm just going to tell you, I'm a big one into reinvention, to retooling, to making some radical adjustments. And today that usually involves facilities. It used to be most churches I would look at, say 25, sometimes 30% of their money went to their building. I'm running into churches now where it's 60. And that's unworkable. So we got to step back and look at this. Now, I have helped churches redesign how they operate in order to escape bondage from their facilities. Sometimes I do advise sell it, but not just sell it out of defeatism. Find the best way of money. And I had one church start over in a gym after they had a facility for a long time. They had a net out of their building, which they used, and within 2 years, of being on a different path, they doubled the size of the church they were. Just because you need to make some adjustments and maybe unloading a building doesn't mean you failed or it's the end of the story. I also know this for a fact, and denominational leaders look askance at me when I say this, but I know just anecdotally, just my own eye, and I'm positive I'm right, between 60-70% of church facilities we have out there are in fact working against us. Their look, the way they're set on the property, the feel of the locations. I went by several that are just for fun, and I tried to guess when they were built. And they looked like crap, really, about 5 of them. The roofs needed fixed, and all this, and I could see the facility is actually hurting the cause of the church. And there are many options besides not having a facility. So I've gathered a team to come at this in several ways for you. One, sometimes it is a financing issue, and denominations can be an extreme help. We find even those of you who are denominational leaders that coming in as a third party, we can honestly affirm or maybe bring in 20 different ideas. That's the real value of consultant, is the breadth of input they can bring. I've been at this 45 years. I've couched every single denomination in the United States, but very few, and in Australia. And so I know where your culture is. I know all of this stuff, and it's amazing. The problems are all the same. So our breadth of experience, also the ideas we have as to what we've seen churches do effectively. You know, we've seen churches build office buildings instead of churches and then occupy 2 floors, and they live there for free and with a great place. And because of their property, and they didn't know it, was in fact commercially zoned and near an area that made it quite valuable. Sometimes you don't have the opportunity to have the eyes we see when we look at this stuff. And I really feel this is one of our most critical points in the U.S. Now, theologically and sociologically, I'm utterly convinced we're too attached to our buildings. We define our church by our building, and that's too bad, because they really are only tools. And I'm going to take everybody who goes through our training to start there. What kind of a tool is your church? Can we make it a better tool? Are there better tools out there? So we can also work with the banks, maybe getting a better financial setup for you if you're in trouble. And I have on our team some folks who build facilities of a new kind. They're just coming into a relationship with us, and they build what they call sustainable buildings, which is a way to have a facility that actually pays for itself with those things around you. That's one of the things we do. Sometimes it's a management issue. I have a top-end strategic planner for some huge ministries who is part of our team, come in and kind of help us work together. I'm a good strategic planner. We can plan you out next 2 or 3 years so you have less emotion, more data, and better decisions. And we also can work with, if you're thinking of building, we can give you some advice. We're not going to come in and build it for you. This organization might, but we might throw some things on the table that are worth considering for very little money, really. And then sometimes we will suggest a whole new form of church for you as a leader. We will assess you as a leader against the community and what's going on there. Anyway, what we want to do, and I'm encouraging you to do this. It's not free. I'm not doing free stuff anymore. This is stuff I've let blood to learn, as have my team. We have proven records. But for $300, I will schedule the time. If you sign up, we will have an hour to 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, with no more than 3 churches at once. You won't have to worry about anybody else knowing your problems. So I'm going to walk you through how do you assess where you are at your facility setting. How long do you have to pay it off? How much space do you have? We'll walk through everything. Stuff you probably already know, but I'm going to take you in a journey at looking at it from a little different angle. Some of you are denominational leaders. I could get a whole group of your denominational people. If you have people who are in trouble with their facilities, we can work with that. And we can also work, from my standpoint, on maybe some structures that you've never thought of that would release you from facility bondage and into new eras of ministry. One of the tragic things we've done as church movements is we've shifted from seeing our people and leaders as our greatest asset to measuring our facilities. So I'm done. It's almost 10 minutes since I've been doing this. I hope you'll sign up. After you've sat through the $300 1 to 2 hour session, for $100, I'll do a follow-up call with a single church webinar. Get as many people as you want in the room. We'll go over your homework, some questions and answers, and if we can take next steps further, we'll talk about us coming on site and helping you, or maybe we can even get several to come on site. But I know I can get you out of facility stress, and I know I can get you out of default, and I know I can help banks and everybody. We can make this into a win-win thing. We also have a fundraising company, has 88 offices around the country, that is part of our team that would be available. None of this is forced on you. We suggest that you take it or leave it. I want to help you. I feel the anxiety and the pressure you feel every day from a facility that isn't helping you. I'm working with a group right now up in the Northwest. It's a great facility, but I've been telling them for years, your facility is working against your cause. It doesn't look right. It's in the wrong spot. You pay too much for it. The sound system costs too much. Let's step back, and we're making adjustments. There's going to be great victories there. So our email is, and you'll see it on our thing there, is murin.consultation@gmail.com. murin.consultation@gmail.com. My phone number, or our business phone number, is 407-982-6985. 407-982-6985. Now, here's the deal. It's July. I've got some downtime. Of course, I have overhead. If you respond quickly, those prices stay. I can tell you that once I get in the fall, it's the competition's gonna be high enough. I'm gonna, I've got partners, I've got other owners I need to answer to, but I'm a pastor guy. I want to help you, so move quick, sign up. I'd like to start next week with this preliminary thing, and we'll see what happens. Okay, God bless. Hope to hear from you.